Welcome back to the We Valiant Few podcast. I am your host, Slapshot.
Raptor.
Crossfire's here.
Blackbeard.
Welcome back, Blackbeard.
Thank you, sir.
We missed you.
Like herpes?
We are back in the We are back in the studio today. Took 2 weeks and did things digitally. It's glad to have everybody back in the studio. And today we are going to be doing the final episode of season 1. Woo, season 1 finale.
Season 1 finale.
Round
Make
of
sure
applause.
get some champagne out, get some confetti sprinkler things. Yeah.
Is it called favors?
Whatever.
Yeah.
they are.
Party favors?
Party favors.
Yes, get those out.
Yeah, we
I
will
want
be...
one of those confetti things that, you shoot, for like 4th of July, the confetti poppers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's
cool.
what
Yeah,
I'd want to shoot you, Slapshot.
Yeah,
right in the dome.
Get one of the ones that's like as big as a
Yeah.
water bottle, like almost blow your
I
wrist off.
still have one of those from last year.
We will be taking the next 2 weeks off for Christmas and New Year's, and we will be back with season 2 on Friday, January 8th. So stay tuned for that.
Everyone take that time to stop listening to us. We've probably turned your brain into mush and spend some time with your family. Don't spread corona,
Or spread it.
Yeah, say or spread it. Yeah.
Actually, no, we prefer
Like
if you
this
spread
Send
it.
it.
Just send it. Yeah.
Because we need more people. We probably have a younger demographic of listeners, so we would prefer it if you guys got it so we could increase the survivability rate of COVID.
5 people that listen to this.
These guys are psychos.
I'm actually one of them, so...
I'm one of the people
I am
that.
talking to myself.
Yeah.
We're survivors.
Hello.
It's like I like that guy's voice. It's like that's me.
Wow, I should do more things that guy says.
Yeah. I like how you think. I like your funny words.
I like
man.
you.
Yeah, but seriously, if anybody that's listening thinks that we're doing a good job, please share this to your friends, pass the word along. We're gonna start pushing here after the end of season 1 to try to get our name out there. So if you would like to help with that, please do so. All right, so today, being the final episode, we're going to do the wrap-up of the amendments. Today we're going to be talking about the 16th, 18th, 21st, and 27th amendments. Go. All right, 16th amendment. You want to read it?
Do I want to read it?
Yeah, you want to read it.
I always want to read an amendment. Give me
It's right there.
this one.
Yeah, it's right there.
I like to read.
Joke's on you, I can't read.
Joke is on you. I cannot read. So, out of the last amendments on the last episode, this one's rather short and sweet. So, for the 16th Amendment, we have the Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes on incomes from whatever source derived without apportionment among the several states and without regard to any census or enumeration. So, let's put that in English for our smoother brain listeners.
The government can tax you.
The government can tax you without factoring in any of the other things. It says, without apportionment or without any census or enumeration. It means that, like, they can tax you regardless of, like, the population. Like, if it was, like, I guess it would be a certain amount to come from a state. They don't have to care about the population. It just would be derived across this.
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward.
And a lot of people say, like, we can go into the talk of, like, everyone that yells and screams taxation is theft. And, I mean, yes and no.
I'd say to an extent, yeah.
It is, depending on how it is used.
Yeah.
And
So-
I think that's, like, the main issue there.
Yeah, because to put this, into more perspective, the 16th Amendment is not what creates tax. The 16th Amendment expands on Article 1 of the Constitution, where there's several subsections, and then those subsections are what actually create the tax. And it's I think it's what section, or there's Article 1, and I think it's Section 3, Section 8, and there's another one I can't remember off the top of my head. So this is just an expansion on that to effectively mean that they can make those taxes that are the power there that's granted to them by the Constitution already. It doesn't matter.
It was a clarification.
It's a clarification, and it basically says that they can do that without factoring in, census information and apportionment. Is effectively what this is doing.
Yeah.
But that brings up what you had said about, taxation isn't theft as long as it's spent correctly.
And it's not, taxation itself isn't inherently a bad thing. Like, a lot of people nowadays get pretty bent out of shape about being taxed, and for good reason, because I think we're overly taxed. I also think that we don't really have first of all, we don't have any idea what we're being like, where our tax money's going.
Mm-hmm.
Like we look at the percentages, maybe the percentage wheel of how much of like federal tax or federal money goes to defense or federal money goes to welfare, social programs, stuff like that. Like, but we don't know necessarily how much of our money is going to whatever it's going to.
Yeah. You mean you can look at budgets all day long, but you know, a lot of it's just generic. And something interesting to think about is, like, you know, people are okay with taxes as long as it provides a service for them.
Yeah.
So, like,
well, that's the whole idea of taxes.
Yeah.
Is it not?
I mean, that's what the concept of it
Yeah.
is, but the actual reality that we have now, I think, is a lot different than that. Because I think like everything that my tax money goes towards does not provide a service to me. Like, I'm okay paying taxes, you know, like firefighters and EMS and stuff that are all, you know, supplemented through taxing. I'm fine with that. And if we refuse to pay taxes for that, you'd find that similar systems appear as a result. Because it's like, oh, well, we don't want to pay for taxes for the police, for instance. We don't want to pay for the police. But I'll pay taxes to Joe over here, or Larry, or whatever. I'll pay him and his group of people
to defend
to
protect me,
and everybody pitches in, and suddenly, there you
go.
go.
A police.
You got rid of the police to make a police force. I mean, that's just naturally how it goes. Or we're gonna, you know, there's this guy over here. We'll pay him and his group to stand around with a truck full of water in case someone's house burns down. Boom! You've accidentally invented a firefighting force. And I mean, that's just what happens. I mean, so it's interesting. Like you said, I think it's bloated. I think originally it was created with that idea that we just mentioned, and it's just like, oh wow, there's effectively free money here. Let's spend it on this. Yeah. Let's spend it on that.
And that's the issue. We don't want tax money being used to line the pockets of people. Tax money should be used to its fullest extent to pay for making roads better, paying for services that everyone uses type thing.
I think, like, take not just roads but just infrastructure. I think it'd be a broader term. I don't think anybody has a problem with that. I don't think anybody in their right mind would have an opposition to that. Oh yeah, sure, I'll pay X amount of my salary to make sure that I have a road to drive on.
Yeah,
you'd be dumb to think otherwise.
Yeah,
you know?
And on top of that, like, we do spend a ton of money on defense, and I think a lot of the money used in defense kind of gets used frivolously in some cases. If we look at, like, just some of the project, like, obviously you need money to innovate, and that's fine. Like, if some defense companies are innovating and we have to pay for them to do that, then okay. But we kind of have to. I feel like there should be
like a budgetary line,
but you're
held to a better standard.
You're saying what you're saying is, because you're saying basically, like, you think that people should be more careful at how, or not people, like the government should be more careful with how it spends its money, and it should make sense where it's spending its money. It's not just like, oh well, there's like we said earlier, the F-35. It's like, oh, the whole F-35 program costs like what, $1.5 trillion. That's an inconceivably large number.
And that is more. That whole program itself encompass. I think how much is the right now? Let's look up.
I think what, $760 billion per year. I think is our defense budget.
Yeah,
right?
I think so. So this is how much
defense budget for 2020. We'll go with that. $620 billion. That's less than I thought it was actually. What's 2021's budget? That's.
I mean, I would almost assume that would probably go down, given
that number is not answering what
I would feel like that number would probably go down with the new administration.
Probably.
I mean, I said it's so like $700 billion a year.
$700 billion, and the F-35 project costs
twice.
Twice. So the U.S. government is paying your car payment, basically, to research your car payment in multiplied by a substantial amount to research this thing.
I mean, they're completely awesome. So I mean,
they are awesome.
I would want the government to be more efficient with its spending.
You're asking a lot.
I understand that, but I think it should be more in the open as well as what money goes where. Almost down to the dollar.
Well, if we're paying for it, it should be.
Yeah, but in a perfect world, yes, but you guys know as well as I do, it's just not going to happen. You're not going to see, this this much money went towards this exact, project versus this project and everything. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Man, the F-35 is such an... It's just a...
excruciatingly expensive vehicle.
Man, can you imagine if you reckon on this is like this? F-35... right here. F-35 seat, lot 14. $100 million is what it costs. That's a couple dollars. Per unit.
Per unit.
That's a lot of dollars.
That's the domestic export price for an F-35L is
in 1 year.
$200 million.
The entire defense budget can buy 6 of them.
Billion versus million.
I can't.
6,000.
Oh no. That's
the entire defense budget can buy 6,000 of these. So
that's not very many. Quite honest.
How much
is an aircraft?
Plane.
I'm really interested. Like,
how much does an aircraft carrier cost?
Yes.
This is not what I wanted. This is not what I wanted to do. I wanted to see what's the complement of an aircraft carrier. The 04 is the newer one, isn't it? Yeah.
Like, has anybody ever seen one of these things in person?
Oh, okay. No, that is a B. Okay.
But I mean, for a plane that's like,
wait, scroll back down. Scroll back down again. What did it say?
In comparison to a aircraft carrier, which
absolutely holds
it carries a bunch of those.
Yeah,
things.
like
that's what I was trying to figure out.
I would imagine that probably carries 15.
Okay, so the 04 class are the
10,
brand.
15.
Go back down again. Ordered tube. There's only one of them. Planned 10. They're trying to get 10 of them.
Yeah, they have to replace the Nimitz class.
Yeah.
Because the Nimitz class are running out. But look.
Imagine a sub. Like a nuclear sub. Like the cost
of look,
it said 508 pilots.
It even says, look, replaced by the Nimitz class.
Did it say where it was made?
This is...
Compliments, 500...
Norfolk?
500
officers, 3,000 enlisted.
Ooh, hey, look who it is. Huh, how about that?
Hey, I know where that is.
Yeah, I know where that's at. But it's probably Norfolk, like you're saying. Newport News. It's basically right there, yeah. They're one of the few places that can actually handle nuclear stuff like this. Let's see. So what I was getting at was, I was wondering how many aircraft... That didn't work out.
Title.
That didn't work out as well as I thought.
Like how many aircraft?
Aircraft carried. There we go. 75 plus. So
what?
So what I was getting? Yeah. So say 75 plus. So the defense budget could fill like what? 60 of these.
Oh.
But they also have to pay for
the aircraft.
Everything else.
The aircraft carrier.
Yeah, the aircraft carrier and the tanks and the bullets and the. Like everything else that the defense has to
imagine
pay
the
for.
fuel cost.
And all paying every single soldier.
How many?
I'm kind of curious, like how much fuel.
Oh, I'm sure.
One of those carriers used to go.
Oh my god, I'm an idiot. I was trying to figure out how much fuel these aircraft carriers take. They're nuclear. Yeah, they don't have fuel anymore. They have aircraft fuel.
No, like I'm saying, like how much fuel one of these aircrafts take, and how much that costs to, for how long that they actually last in the air.
A couple hours. 3 million gallons of jet fuel.
That's a lot of fuel.
Light, you're still
because you have to have fuel.
Oh.
Yikes.
Bush wouldn't be happy about that.
But wrapping it back up, it's like it's they can pull or they can use this to tax things. It's just like sometimes I think we should really consider what the taxes are going for.
Yeah, I personally would like something that gives you an idea, or maybe gives you some control where your tax money goes. Like maybe say you have to give a certain percentage of it to each of these things, but you also have a percentage left over that you can choose to put.
Otherwise, we end up with something like this. For those who can't see the screen, we're looking at the debt clock.
It goes up.
That number's not even like changing in real. It's just kind of going wherever it feels like.
I'm sure does it ever go down?
I don't think
it
has.
It's never went down.
It has went down underneath Clinton.
Interesting.
Total assets. Oh, look, that number's going up. That's good.
Assets. Do we have more assets?
Money supply. Hey, look, that number's going up. That means they're printing deficit with China.
China. That's a lot.
The oil's going down. Oh, the deficit with China is going down.
Oh, that's good.
It
The
is.
trade deficit is going up though. U.S. debt held by 4. Ooh, that is a T.
That is a
There's
large amount of money.
That's a doozy.
There was a thing that tells you how many savings per family. On
That's good.
GDP
It's
rate.
actually not bad.
They were saying things like total national debt. Oh, debt to GDP ratio.
Medium income now, 34,000.
That sounds right. I mean,
That's still kind of low for
are these
median income.
graphs?
Is that income per person?
That's median
State debt clause.
income,
Per person.
like median. That's like the average.
Yeah, I know that's what I'm talking about. That's really
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, I know that's really bad.
Hey, look,
I would say it's
that's okay. So this is for this state here. That's actually not nearly as bad as I expected, because the GDP is going up a lot faster than the debt, and the debt to GDP ratio is not that high either.
We have more
So basically, we just need to spend a little bit less.
debt per citizen, $10,000.
You can't stop me.
I mean, we could
Credit card debt. Oh, it's going down. Nice. Student loan debt per student. Oh boy.
What if we just spent a year of the
Nah.
military, 1 year, where all they did was just pay for maintenance and pay salaries. So if something breaks, fix it or replace it, and just pay for workers.
I've got
For a
$30,000
year.
in
How much
credit card debt. Credit card debt.
How much money do we save?
Probably a fair amount, I'd imagine. Because what portion of the military budget goes towards paying people?
Well, how many people are
Probably
in
a-
the military? Couple.
Let's Google that.
I imagine it would be
million
a
people.
vast number right there.
I think it's about 1 million people.
Now, are we going with like?
It says 23% of the budget is spent on personnel.
So 23% plus a little bit on top
Oh,
for
the
maintenance.
DoD, the entire DoD
Yeah.
thing is paid for. I didn't even make the connection that was all through. I mean, it's Department of Defense, but I didn't realize the defense budget literally went for that. I thought it was a total separate thing.
Yep.
So, the DoD, then you got to think about all the things that go through the DoD that have government contracting. I mean, like Raytheon in general.
That too.
Like Raytheon
Well,
is
if
a
we
huge
cut,
holder.
what if we just cut all the contracts, cut them all?
Then,
Send them
then
away.
companies just they're like, oh boy.
That's gonna go over well.
I'm sure. it
Notice
does.
our light switch notice our lights are not on right now. We had to close, but I mean, yeah, that's something to think about. I don't have anything else to add to that though.
Yeah, that's
I
a
think
good
we're
enough
good.
tangent for that.
That was awesome.
That was a great tangent for that.
Yeah. So the next ones we're going to talk about, these in conjunction, are the 18th and 21st Amendments. That is because the 18th was the amendment that created prohibition, and the 21st Amendment was the one that repealed prohibition. So I think it's right to talk about them at the same time.
Yep. So we'll start with the 18th Amendment. After 1 year from ratification on this article and manufacture, sale, or transportation of intoxicating liquors within, the importation thereof into, or the exportation thereof from the United States and all territories subject to the jurisdiction thereof for beverage purposes is hereby prohibited. The Congress and several states shall have concurrent power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation, which is another thing, one of those added
We use the
sections.
law to make the law.
We
And
use
then-
the law to make the law.
And then this is, the 21st is right here.
The 21st is the 18th article of amendment to the Constitution of the United States is hereby repealed. The transportation or importation into any state, territory, or possession of the United States for delivery or use herein of intoxicating liquors in violation of the law thereof is hereby prohibited.
And the article shall be inoperative unless it shall be ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by mayors in several states as provided with the Constitution. That last one basically means like, it's not going to work unless, or doesn't mean anything unless it's accepted into the states, which as we know it was. So, I mean, we can talk about that. The 21st, I have one thing to talk about on that, but I guess the point would be why they did it in the first place.
Yeah. So the reason why they did it in the first place was, I'm pretty sure there was a group of mothers that were basically angry that their husbands and fathers were always drunk or always coming home drunk. And this time, I don't really think that the labor laws were as, like, we didn't have like 40-hour work weeks. So they were basically, they would work and then they would drink.
But it's not much different than
Than now.
it is now.
But with more working and probably less drinking, in all honesty.
Yeah, since the 18th Amendment to the Constitution was imposed by imposing the federal restriction of alcohol. Let's see, does it say why? Organizational efforts of the temperance movement and anti-saloon league, which says basically alcohol caused all societies ill. It campaigns at local, state, national levels to combat its manufacture, sale, and distribution and consumption. A lot of organized efforts. They said linked to alcohol to immortality, criminality, and with the advent of World War II, unpatriotic citizenship. So they basically were like,
Alcohol is bad.
alcohol big bad. Pass this to make big good. And as we can see shortly thereafter, because let me grab my notes here. It says when the 18th Amendment, when was it ratified? 18th Amendment was ratified on January 16th, 1919. And then the 21st Amendment, which got rid of that, was December 5th, 1933. So we're looking at a period of what, approximately 14 years. That's pretty short-lived.
Yeah, short-lived. And the prospect of the citizens are not very. I mean, that's kind of a long period of time for people living through that period.
Yeah, well, you can imagine. Think about what else happened during that period.
Oh yeah, we've got mafia.
The big depressor.
We've got the big sad.
The big
we've
sad.
The big sad.
Yeah. You weren't allowed to drink your sorrows away.
No, you're not allowed to drink.
Well, from what I was reading up on this, it says you weren't you weren't allowed to like move liquor, but you were still allowed to drink liquor. You were still allowed to drink the liquor. Like,
yes,
that wasn't...
you were allowed to drink liquor. So that's one part of this. That it doesn't say anything about that, because I think if they made it so that you weren't allowed to drink liquor, that would actually go against the personal freedoms, like people's personal freedoms. I don't know what that would fall underneath. That would probably fall underneath the actual life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
So if they restricted people from drinking, they wouldn't pass this constitution.
It doesn't say consumption.
No, it says right here. It says the manufacture, sale, or transportation of intoxicating liquors within. Basically says any United territory is prohibited. So no, it just says manufacture, sale, or transportation. But it's kind of a catch-22. It's like, oh yeah, no.
So you can't make it, you can't sell it, and you can't move it.
Yeah, you can't make it, sell it, or move it. So how are people going to drink it? It's like, you're still allowed to drink it, but it literally cuts off the supply. It's like, yeah, you guys are still allowed to, have, I don't know, a gun, but if they cut the ammo off, there's no ammo. You're still allowed to have a gun, though.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's the same idea, because
this is a prime example of civil disobedience.
It is,
because we had this. So this was ratified, and what do you see throughout that entire time period? You have speakeasies, you have
underground stuff.
You've got a large. I don't know if it was necessarily connected, but a big portion of mafia.
It was definitely connected. So the entire huge underground areas.
You just basically what you did is you made it impossible to tax, so now you can't make money on it, and you just turned it into a black market.
So I'm sorry.
I would say like if you really wanted to get a good grasp of like sort of the ballpark of how it really went, with a movie to watch would be Lawless, because that's kind of they played off really well of how that whole scenario sort of went down, how the local governments would pressure these guys that are bootlegging to trying to fold over and help them make money while still letting these guys bootleg still.
Yeah, and I'm sure
that's based off a true story.
Yeah, they turn it into a black market, which means the price skyrockets.
Yeah.
Which means the people that are bootlegging it and moving it and doing the illegal stuff are making a crap ton of money.
So I can actually speak personally into this because my family was involved in that back in the 20s. They had a like a, I don't know what you call it, like a market. So like they sold vegetables and stuff like a normal market, right? Then they actually had like a school bus they drive around full of vegetables and they deliver them, right? But there was I guess she would be my great grandmother, maybe one more great. I think it'd be great grandmother. And she would sell the stuff out of the store like normal, but the back of the store, like once you went to the end of the back room, was all alcohol. In the 20s, they sold it out of the back of the store. They did that, moonshine mostly. So our family was involved in this, and there was a huge, gigantic underground network that traded all this stuff around because, like you said, it's civil disobedience. It's like like I said just a little bit ago, it's like, hey, we're not going to stop you from drinking it, but we're going to basically cut off everything else. And people are like, oh, that's BS.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we're just not going to listen to that law, and we're not going to listen to it until they repeal it. And guess what? It is the only amendment that they actively had to make another amendment to repeal the other one.
Use the amendment to destroy the amendment.
Yes.
Wait, what is it? What did we say last
Use the law to make the law.
Or no, was
Use
it
the power to
use
make
the
the
power
power.
to make the power.
That's it. Yeah, use the power to make the power.
to destroy the power.
Yeah, really. But it's
So why didn't they just like undo?
Because you can't.
you can't undo it.
Because it's an amendment.
Yeah, it's written in. So when,
Like,
as an amendment's created, it is written law. You can't just pull out your magic eraser.
Yeah, you have to use an amendment has to be made in order to get rid of an amendment. That's because of how much weight an amendment has in our society.
Well, an amendment, even like amendments, not just for the Constitution, but there's tons of amendments. I'll use like business terms, like because we get amendments all the time with like agreements and like with like some of my operating agreements, like with my companies. If you modify it, you call it an amended operating agreement, and you go through and you know very clearly like, oh well, we changed this. Like a lot of times it's like share percentages.
Yeah.
So you have to amend it and you have to write it in because that becomes the governing document. Same thing with the Constitution. It's exactly the same. It's like when you amend it, you are basically writing it in stone. So when you make another amendment, it doesn't get rid of the previous amendment. It just nullifies the effects of it. That's what happened here. I mean,
it is writing it because you're writing it's a really good example. Writing it into stone. Like whenever you write an amendment, it stays in the stone. It doesn't wither. It doesn't go away. There's no way to get rid of it other than creating another amendment that says, hey, this previous amendment doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. So what's the exact wordage it uses for the 21st? It says, the 18th article of amendment to the Constitution is hereby repealed. So I mean, it just nullifies the effects of the 18th, although it's still forever going to be part of it.
Because there was never it's honestly crazy that it even got to the point where they were like, yeah, let's make this an amendment, and all the states agreed, like, yeah, this is a great idea.
Yeah,
Just bend over and just like, yeah, this is right.
Because do all 50 have to agree, or is it a majority?
It's 2/3, I believe.
Is it? Let's see.
We googled this before.
I can't remember.
I believe it is 2/3, and then have to bring it to
What
vote.
states must ratify? 3/4 of states.
Oh, 3/4.
Okay, I could, for some reason 3/4 was coming to mind. 'Cause there was another amendment that said it had to be. I couldn't remember which one. But one we went through said it had to be ratified by 3/4 of the states. I forget which one of them it was. So 38 of 50 states have to agree on it.
Another cool fun fact.
I could see that really becoming an issue.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's still a lot. That's a huge port. Like, we don't even have that kind of.
So you need 12 states and like U.S. map. Let's see. So how many states?
We'll look at a political map just so.
Back at this time as well, we didn't have like 3 additional states or two additional states.
So
we had last. No, we didn't have the last.
So what I was getting at is like you need all but 12 to agree on it. So look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if all of them except those agreed on it, then you could get rid of the Electoral College with that.
Yeah. Well, you could. I mean, you could get rid of everything.
Oh boy!
All you need is
Article 28.
a portion of states to.
Article 28. The Constitution is hereby void. Oh.
Article 2, Amendment 2 of the Second Amendment or of the Constitution is hereby void.
Oh no!
Like all of that can happen.
What does Article 2 cover?
Not Article 2, Amendment.
Amendment 2. Oh boy.
Or Amendment 1.
Welcome to Bolivia.
Oh.
There's a little cool fun fact that Walgreens in the 1920s was still selling alcohol for medical.
Medical alcohol.
Oh,
Yeah, that's it. There was
existed.
You implying that I could...
Walgreens grew from around 20 locations to more than 500 during the 1920s because of this.
Stalls. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Walgreens.
I didn't know. I thought they were
1901.
new. Oh,
No.
man.
Yeah.
Why didn't I start seeing
let's-
like I don't remember growing up with a ton of Walgreens.
Not so much around here.
That's like a
Let's see.
Sheetz versus like Wawa, I would imagine.
No, but I mean Sheetz didn't even show up here until for a while. Eckerd, I remember Eckerd.
Eckerd Drug.
I don't. Do they even exist?
Eckerd Corporation sold to CVS in 2000. They were in that business in 2004.
Yeah, I remember
defunct 2007. Man, I remember.
There was one.
I remember there was the big light show. Remember they had the huge Eckerd sign. Wow, and there was Eckerd right in downtown. Remember where the thing is?
Remember Ames?
I do remember Ames. We had an Ames.
Radio
too.
Shack.
Ames is still in business.
Really?
Yeah.
Radio Shack is still in business too. It's not.
There's like one Radio
I
Shack
don't
left
think-
in the U.S.
Any of the Radio Shacks that are left are individually
Radio
owned.
Shack, mom and pop business.
Ames. Oh. Ames store. Ames department store.
Ames?
That's
I don't
it.
remember Ames.
There, I
Defunct.
forget there is one. There is one. It must be locally owned then. There's one up. I think.
A vacant. This vacant, or...
What did they sell?
It was like a Sears.
Oh,
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
well, Sears went bankrupt too.
Rip Sears.
All these big name mall stores.
This is the one I remember. Remember that being on the big side of the building, all script.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was green and white.
It was white. The one I remember.
The one I remember was white with green background.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think
Like
it's
a-
where
like
the...
that,
like
exactly like that. Yes.
I'm pretty sure we're thinking of the same. We're all thinking of the
There was
same
one in down the road from my house.
Oh, there was one. There was one up right down the road from your house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right down the road from my
That's
house.
the one I was thinking of. Yeah.
I think it's where the Dick's was.
Ooh. Yeah, it's real close to there.
What?
I think it was exactly where the Dick's was.
I'm trying to remember.
Where the Ames was.
Wait,
We used to have one.
but where Dick's
Not
is
where it
now?
currently is, but before. So Dunham's now.
Okay, but
I
that
think
was
you're right.
that was. No,
That
because they
was-
built that building that part of the mall for that store.
No, it wasn't there. I'm thinking it was where Sears was.
I would have to think.
Oh wow, that's an old one.
What is that?
That is
Where is that?
It's old.
that is super old. I think this is down by where they made the trains.
What?
Oh man.
This is what we're thinking of here doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's
what we're
not
trying to
there.
find does not exist.
We can look into this later.
Yeah.
We're also just if you're hopping in on this, we're doing this for. We're not really talking about whereabouts exactly, just because we're trying to keep ourselves somewhat anonymous.
Care about what we have to say,
Yeah.
not who we are.
Yes, that.
But so it's interesting tying us back in because that was a pretty heavy tangent there. It's amazing to think that Walgreens, 30 times the size. We sell medical alcohol.
Yep.
And sooner or later, medical marijuana is looking like it's following a.
It's the similar path Walgreens needs to hop on.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, indeed.
Someone go help business develop them into selling marijuana.
So I guess people just kind of walked into Walgreens and said, "I need some rubbing alcohol."
And it's something I'm sure that there was different.
It's like that
Air quotes.
It's like that Family Guy who says, like, "Do you have a bunny?" In the pet store, all the pets are all cardboard cutouts. It's like, what type of bunny do you want? A semi-automatic bunny?
In between 1906 and the end of Prohibition, over 10,000 people died from dirty alcohol.
Oh, I believe that. Believe it or not.
Also very
I mean,
That's also probably why they created the 21st Amendment, because they realized people are still going to drink.
Oh boy, all these people are dying.
So
that's not. I mean,
It wasn't about the drinking. I think it was more about the movement and
I think
the money that they were making on alcohol.
I think a lot of it was that people realized that it's like, well, we've passed this, and the whole reason the big thing we want to focus on in this is the civil disobedience. Is like, well, that didn't work. People are stubborn.
People are still doing the things
they like their rights,
and now they're doing it illegally. We literally turned something that was legal before into something that is now illegal.
This is the same shit with anything else that is an illegal substance or like
a victimless crime. We're talking about victimless. This is a victim. This is a crime.
Well, that's a whole different topic. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like they're trying to make criminals out of regular people.
Yeah, like it's someone that just enjoyed a drink, like going to the bar for a drink or two after work, or like maybe even one day a week, whatever it is now unable to do that anymore.
Yeah, because it was all done.
This is
secretly.
You could tie this and compare it with like
Everything.
the 2A, for example.
Big 2A.
Big time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similarities between that and Prohibition.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, I mean, they used the Second Amendment to.
Oh boy, look, so this is the Drunkard's Progress.
Family.
Okay.
Oh,
wait,
man.
what is this?
Okay, this is called the Drunkard's
from
Progress
1920?
from the first glass to the grave.
What year is this from?
And who published it?
This was made. Oh wow!
By the Temperance Movement.
Temperance Movement in 1846. So,
Can we explain what the temperance movement is?
The Temperance Movement is basically the movement that
let's see. The
carried.
Temperance Movement is a social movement against the consumption of alcoholic beverages. There you go. It's your synopsis.
Nice.
So this one, let's see. So step 1 is a glass with a friend. Step 2 is a glass to keep the cold out.
Okay.
All right. Step 3, a glass too much. Step 4, drunk and
Riotous.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't read that.
Disorderly.
Step 5, the
summit attained jolly companions, a confirmed drunkard.
Okay. Step 6, poverty and disease.
How do you go from jolly companions to poverty and disease?
You're at the summit. That's why. Step 7, forsaken by friends. Step 8, desperation and crime. Step 9, death by suicide. Wow, that went from 0 to 100 really fast. Look how you're jolly. As soon as after you're jolly,
poverty and disease.
Poverty and disease.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow, all right. That's an interesting.
So that's what.
Look at the picture.
Oh my god! He shoot himself.
The art.
He's pulling out his flint Glock and putting it up to his head.
Flint Glock.
Coming soon to We Valiant Fuse store Flint Glocks.
No, don't make promises we can't keep.
Oh, that sounds fun though.
We should do that. That'd be awesome. But no, I'm
pretty sure the Glock is copyrighted.
There's Flint Glock.
The flint Glock is not though.
Well, I'm sure it exists.
You're looking this up.
No,
No.
that's exactly what I thought.
I seen that on Facebook
That
and
is-
I shared it.
That is
with you.
exactly what I had in mind. That is,
There is no way.
Warning. Scroll down. Warning. Your rasp- if you want to laugh, just look up an image of
Flint Glock.
Flint Glock.
I cannot believe.
Article107news.com. Let's see. Far right. Let's see.
This cannot be real.
This
This
has
is
to
a
be.
joke.
This has to be a right-wing onion. I hope so. Yeah, there we go. So, warning: far-right groups mass-producing Flint Glocks for Virginia's gun-free Second Amendment boogaloo.
Interesting.
Isn't that look at that? They even made the Photoshop nice on the edge
It's very good.
Oh my
I
god.
absolutely love this. Trying to get a head start on the boogaloo. They're Flint Glocks. They set up a First Amendment zone, made it a chain link fence to surround and contain the protesters. Oh, okay. I'm not gonna start reading some of these because we're gonna get
not
banned
gonna
on
read
YouTube.
Yep.
Flint Glock TM.
It's trademarked. Oh man.
Oh well, never mind. Sorry.
Wait. The flintlock is chambered in 17.76 millimeter.
Fitted with a bump stock.
Fired fully semi-automatic
mode and will transform into untraceable ghost gun capable of firing dozens of clips a second. Just like our country's founders intended. It's even California compliant. That paragraph itself is a amazing.
It's an embodiment of freedom.
That needs copied and put on a shirt or something.
Oh my god. I think that just won up. I'm gonna go ahead and leave that up because that was great.
Yep.
That won up my favorite. I think that almost won up my favorite. My favorite quote, which is, that wasn't an explosion. It was just a rapid, unscheduled disassembly. Alphabet boys.
We'll call him
Bob.
Technically, this simple drop-in modification makes my Glock 22 a curio or relic under Virginia law, Bob explained, which means I can carry this thing wherever I want. I can even take it on an airplane as long as I'm flying to another pro-Second Amendment state.
Even one will be too much freedom.
I cannot believe that.
Okay.
This is definitely a right-wing. I love this.
This is hilarious.
All right, so the moral of the story: civil
disobedience.
disobedience. Yeah,
Get your flint glocks.
get your flint blocks.
And drink alcohol.
Drink lots of alcohol.
As long as you're of legal age.
Oh,
But just don't go past step 5, because once you go past step 5, then you suffer from poverty, disease, and then you kill yourself.
We're a satirical site. You shouldn't do it. There it is. Yeah, it says.
Mercilessly mock anyone who does, especially people who don't know anything about guns or politics.
You should
I'm
also,
really doing something like this.
Yeah. You should also block all the self-appointed
internet gun experts who go the headline. You don't read the article, you're like...
flint Glock or a full
are real
semi-auto.
things.
Oh, that's amazing.
I like how there's disclaimers. It has to say that things are, hey, this is satire.
This Photoshop
This
picture
is not real. We are this is a joke. This whole thing is just a joke.
is a pretty good joke.
Jokes are not allowed anymore.
All right, so I guess I guess we're gonna jump on to. Unless you guys have anything else to add there.
I mean, like,
civil.
something else that's pretty cool that a lot of these people that made beer and liquor and whatnot, like, in order to keep, working and whatnot, they retrofitted a lot of their companies to make other products. Yingling and Anheuser-Busch both made ice cream, and Coors made pottery from ceramics.
Interesting.
I just thought that was a cool little fact that,
that's a cool tidbit.
in order to keep their business afloat, they
Does
started.
Yingling still make ice cream?
Yes, they do.
Wait, what? Really?
They do. They have a
now.
black and tan, and some. I think they have a couple other flavors as well.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. It exists still.
And
Look at
Yingling,
that.
and I think
Vanilla.
Yingling was is the oldest brewery.
Since
They
1920.
Oh man, they started Oh, there we go. During Prohibition.
Yeah.
Started during to help the family brewery.
Wow.
It's the oldest.
The oldest brewery in the United States is Yingling.
Is it?
Yes.
Like how you know that. You must be beyond step 5, sir.
No, it's literally.
And
I'm
there
pretty sure
were-
it's on like every Yingling billboard ever.
How about that? Oh wow. No, founded the actual Yingling brewery was 1829. So the 1920 was the dairy side of it because of our like you said, they did it to support them.
And the legal brews that were out there actually for consumption were 0.5% alcohol.
It's like there's a lot of
So
things.
imagine how much you would have to drink in order to even
So there's
obtain a buzz.
That's because a lot of countries do not consider that alcoholic. So like, kvass, which is
It's Kvass beer.
kvass.
I've never heard of this.
It's ABV. I think it's like Oh, okay, that's a lot more than I thought. Oh, yeah.
A lot more?
Most of them, the stuff I've had before is it's like 0.5.
Oh.
Yeah. It's because it's slightly fermented. Yes, here you go. This is because it's literally like made out of bread.
So you're just drinking liquid bread, essentially.
You're always drinking.
You ever make
liquid
Guinness?
bread. Just liquid. That's just coffee.
Coffee. Yeah, no, that was a cool tidbit. Thanks for adding that in.
That's cool. Well, now I know what kind of ice cream I want to try next.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
I've actually had it. It's pretty good. It's very creamy.
Like compared to a normal ice cream brand, such as like Breyers.
It's definitely richer. You know, like the creaminess
like a
of it.
Premium brand.
Yeah, it is. Like I know
would
it's
say.
expensive, but it is. You definitely get what you pay for. You know what I mean? Like it's not quite as good as like homemade ice cream, but
Good
it's
enough,
definitely
right?
it's definitely worth trying.
We definitely need to try that now.
Well, we'll put that on the list. All right.
27th Amendment.
27th
Yeah, let's cap it off
Do
here.
you want to read it? You're welcome to.
Is that whole thing?
You read this. No, it's just this.
Oh, okay.
It's till the line. Yeah. It's just literally that.
Ooh, I get to read something.
Is this your first time reading an amendment?
Yeah, but I need to go to the school for kids that can't read good.
Oh gosh.
All right, the 27th Amendment. No law varying the compensation for the services of the senators and representatives shall take effect until an election of representatives shall have interviewed.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, it just basically prevents Congress from passing a law that alters their current salary. Otherwise, I mean, it's pretty obvious because like, oh, I can just pass this law now to make myself have more money.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the corruption there is.
But they force you, if they're going to pass like a increase of wage, it has to be done. It cannot take effect until the next voting cycle.
Yeah. So let me see. Was it created because somebody tried to abuse it?
Most likely.
I'm currently on history.com right now reading up on that.
That's
so
what I was
let
gonna
me,
jump to. Let's see.
It was first proposed in 1789, but it took 200 years and a campaign by a Texas University student before it was finally ratified.
Oh wow, it's really. I mean, it's relatively recent.
Yeah, 1992. But they can't. But we can't get term limits. We can get them to vote on their, and it's not like any of this matters because a lot of the times there's politicians that just sit in Congress like forever because they're in like 60-30 things.
Oh no. Oh, there's tons of 28th amendments.
Wait, what is this?
What is this?
So I mean, we pretty much wrapped up the 27th Amendment. So I just jokingly typed in on our monitor here the 28th Amendment to see what comes up. There's a whole bunch of awesome stuff. Proposed 28th Amendment says Congress shall make no law that applies to citizens of the United States that does not equally apply to Senate. Oh, I really, really like that one.
Yeah.
Congress shall make no law that applies to senators or representatives that does not equally apply to the citizens. Why is that not a thing?
Isn't that the whole?
It's kind of well, unless that's default assumed.
Isn't that like part of the Constitution?
I would
at some point didn't we like cover that?
I think so. Yeah. Constitutional Canadian for the right to vote. Speaking of voting rights,
We the
most
people
they.
have feasted. Can we just read that? Public service servant of we the people.
Let me see if we can actually grab the whole thing. So like Control F, feast. There we go.
Reasons for signing.
Oh, wait, these are actual people.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, these are people actually signing it.
Oh.
Reasons for signing that one I said about people equally applying. Public service servants of we the people have feasted on the government banquet table or erected on the backs of U.S. Americans for far too long. The 14th and 28th Amendments prohibit unequal application law. Take back the rights of people.
Yeah.
Plus, the era needs to pass. Why isn't this common sense for our country? I mean,
people can sign like. That's why I think petitions are kind of stupid. Like, I guess if you want to gauge how many people agree with this idea.
Sign this petition. Oh, we are going to sign in this. We vow. be Valiant. That is my first name. It is hyphenated.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Well, I think that pretty much is it for the amendments. I mean, 10 episodes, amendments. Bam. End of season 1.
Wow. That was pretty good.
That was fun.
That was a good ride.
That was a good ride.
We learned
It's
a lot.
over.
I think we learned
That's
a lot.
it.
It's not over. This is
Season 2.
this is
What do we have in
this is-
store?
We don't have a season 2 or one-hit wonders.
Season
That's
2, maybe Slapshot will show up on time.
yeah. Tune in for season 2.
Dude, listen, work's been killer right now,
We
alright?
may find out if Slapshot shows
Work-
up
Tune
on
in
time.
next week.
Tune in next week. I mean, he's on time every time for you guys, but for us, not so much.
Dude, work's been killer. It's December, alright?
I don't
And
care
I
what
work
time it is,
in
what
a-
day it is, what freaking hour it is. Don't matter. You pick a time where this is personal responsibility. What you're telling me is freaking excuses right now.
You're right, it is. I'm
Self
sorry.
accountability.
I have none of that.
That'd be season 2, episode 1, self accountability podcast. Oh,
Ooh.
ooh.
I do not like where this is going.
Tune in for our 25-mile ruck. in 2 hours.
Yes. We'll be posting our podcast. They will be mobile now.
Yeah, we could straight up actually record a
We can
podcast.
stream a podcast while we're hiking.
We could do
Out in
that.
the middle of the woods.
That
That's
would
it.
We may actually have to do that,
That would
sometime.
be pretty sick, honestly.
We need to do a rock, though, next month for sure. In the snow.
If we have snow.
We probably will.
But on
Considering it
topic,
just started snowing this month.
Yeah.
But regardless, back on topic.
yeah,
What?
let's.
That's it. I mean, my only thing wrap up is, again, season 2 coming out on January the 8th. So stay tuned for that. And
There are going to be some doozies.
yeah, really, I
mean,
wish.
I think we're getting better.
I think we're getting better. Yeah. Well,
I think a lot of this has gotten a lot more lighthearted. You know, everybody's more relaxed. And
Oh well,
Yeah,
we
we're
even
not-
we even said that going into it, that this was going to happen. We're more comfortable talking with with an audience, and we've transitioned it to us just basically talking amongst one another. That's what, like I said, I figured that was going to happen because none of us come from any professional background with this type of stuff.
Yeah.
None of us are AV people. IT stuff, but not AV stuff, and we're just running by the seat of our pants. I'm enjoying it.
Me too.
But
I like talking.
yeah, I like.
I like talking.
About the only
I like hearing everyone's opinions. And by the way, we'd like to hear your opinions, so you should join our Discord.
Yeah,
That
nice.
was smooth.
Yeah.
Join our Discord, please.
Boom.
Like that transition.
Yeah, join Discord. We are on Anchor. We are on YouTube. We are on all major podcast platforms.
Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
And Google Podcasts and some other weird stuff that I don't know the name of, but we're on there.
Check our Anchor for the links to that.
Yeah, you should go and check it out.
Yeah,
Do it. Do it now.
you show your friends to check it out.
Yeah.
Tell your
you
mom
should
to check it out. Tell your
force
dad to
them
check it out.
I mean, not
Tell your
force.
dog to check it out.
Where's them? Yeah, I like
I
that.
can't tell you to do anything, but I'm just.
I can highly suggest
I
it.
can I can suggest.
Your quality of life will be improved.
You
There we
will
go.
think more or less, depending on where your brain sits.
Slightly to the left.
There's our slogan: think independently.
Yes.
Ooh.
That's a good slogan.
Well, I think there's our slogan, right?
It only
T-shirt.
took us a whole season to figure it out.
T-shirt time.
We don't have enough people that want T-shirts to make T-shirts.
Maybe we want T-shirts.
I mean, we could
have
we could get T-shirts, but no one's gonna see the T-shirts.
I know a guy.
I have a lead for T-shirts, and we need T-shirts, like an actual series lead.
I just want a cape.
Oh,
I want a leotard.
Let's make a cape.
we Valiant capes.
Oh yes, very
Merch store.
fashionable these days.
Merch store. No, I think that's good. You guys have
Yeah.
anything else pertinent to add? I have one last thing that I want to send off with, but I want to make sure everybody else is good. Cause I'm
Thanks for hanging around with us. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for having me so much. This has been quite a bucket list objective for me that I've now completed.
Of course, we hope you join us in season 2 and up to season infinity. No,
Infinity
And beyond.
but like I said, if you guys have anything else to add, I want to wish our audience a very Merry Christmas and happy holidays for what everybody else celebrates.
I'm offended.
Yeah, I love Christmas. Everybody Christmas. You got all ragged off. It's like,
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas,
And happy
everyone.
holidays.
Merry Chrysler.
And Happy New Year.
See you in season 2.
Yeet.